In 1984, James Cameron's film The Terminator was a modest hit in theatres, but became massively popular after it hit home video and television. It made Arnold Schwarzenegger a bankable star.
I'll be back.
In the early 90s, James Cameron revisited the world that he had created with one of the decade's defining action movies. It's Terminator 2: Judgment Day. You can blame home video for a lot of things: teen comedies, porn, and the enduring career of Steven Seagal. One thing video did was give new life to a lot of films that weren't necessarily huge hits at the box office. This trend was not lost on producers. They could see the amount of money generated by people renting movies that were either modest hits or had even underperformed, and they were somehow bringing in lots of cash on the video rental market. The word blockbuster originally referred to people lining up around the block to get in to see a popular movie. No demolition work was ever involved, it's just poetic hyperbole. Ironically, the Blockbuster video chain made many movies that were duds into hits before Blockbuster pulled the same trick in reverse and turned themselves from a hit into a dud. For example, the original Austin Powers was a flop in cinemas, but did so well on video that people clamoured for a sequel, which, when released in 1999, became one of the biggest box office hits of that year. In general, sequels made less money than the first film, but in 1991, one film turned that trend right around. After the original, modestly budgeted Terminator, let's be charitable, inspired many low-budget filmmakers, a theatrical sequel needed to be bigger to stand out. Well, Terminator 2 was much bigger in scale, in its action and effects. It was a very expensive film for its day, which is somewhat ironic since the film, in many ways, mirrors the basic plot of the first film, just with a few things moved around, like the faces of Real Housewives.
I'll be back.
The machines send a new type of Terminator back in time to kill a pre-teen John Connor, circa 1995. This T-1000 is a living metal that can take on almost any human shape of a similar size, but for whatever reason, really likes being Robert Patrick. Future John Connor decided to send back another soldier to protect himself because he had another dental appointment. This time it was a reprogrammed Terminator, identical to the one from the first film. Whether this was a good idea considering how traumatized Sarah Connor is, who knows. But since Arnold Schwarzenegger was by now a huge star, making a Terminator film without him as the lead would be a massive disappointment. Look at Predator 2. No, don't laugh, they made a Predator 2 without Arnie, and it's about as memorable as a floppy disk sitting on a giant magnet. John Connor is a troubled youth. He's also a sarcastic asshole.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Like all those sarcastic assholes we've been hearing so much about, and this is in the days before YouTube. He's been in foster care since his mother was committed to a mental institution, and he's learned how to steal money from ATMs to play 15-year-old arcade games like Missile Command. Oh, I get it. Well done, Mr. Cameron. The good Terminator saves John Connor from the bad Terminator, and they form a friendship, where the good Terminator is John's protector, servant, and friend.
You have to do what I say, huh?
That's one of my mission parameters.
Stand on one foot. Cool. El Terminator.
John Connor teaches the good Terminator how to be a human. Not just any sort of human, but a sarcastic asshole.
Dipshit. Put your leg down. Did you call moi a dipshit?
They always say, write what you know. After busting Sarah Connor out of her mental hospital in one of the film's most memorable scenes,
Come with me if you want to live.
the trio sets out to stop Judgment Day. It turns out circuitry from the first Terminator had survived. It's being studied by Cyberdyne Industries and its lead scientist Miles Dyson, inventor of the bagless vacuum cleaner. Cyberdyne would eventually go on to invent Skynet, which would launch the missiles that destroyed the world when someone did this. Hey Siri, set a reminder for lunch with Al, Missy, and Ellie.
Done. Launch all missiles.
The hard part is staying alive long enough with the T-1000 on their ass like a boil that needs lancing. Again, a lot of the action mirrors that of the first film. Big rigs exploding, a climax in a factory, but it's put together so well you don't care. The twisting of elements purloined from the first film works so well that you can't ever conceive of evil Arnie Terminators again. Certain deleted scenes from the first film hinted at plot elements eventually used in Terminator 2.
Cyberdyne Systems, isn't that it?
What about it?
Listen to this. If you blow it up, it'll never happen.
As well as the franchise's most quoted line by goth scholars.
There's no fate but what we make for ourselves, right?
Linda Hamilton has a lot more to work with here. Sarah Connor has a lot of depth, having become paranoid and almost psychotic in the intervening years.
I think you're so creative. You don't know what it's like to really create something.
Arnie has this roll down pat, even after spending the previous few years alternating between hard-edged action movies and goofy comedies. The role fits him like a glove. Since the first film, Arnold Schwarzenegger had clearly done a lot of work on his vocal delivery, which was handy since he has a lot more dialogue in this film.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Even Edward Furlong manages to make a whiny, obnoxious brat into someone you perhaps don't want to see die. I mean, he's annoying, but I don't wish ill on 10-year-old John Connor, though I'd happily watch skateboarding videos of him falling on his face and maybe, just maybe, dislocating his shoulder.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Everything about this film is done well. Even the stuff that now feels oh so 1990s comes across as fresh and original, either because Cameron did it first or Cameron did it better.
No problemo.
T2 has a spark that's just missing from the sequels after the films passed into other directors' hands, which obviously makes this the series' peak. It's like a kid who learned to read by age 4 but who drops out of high school after flunking English.
Just put up your hand and say, I swear I won't kill anyone.
I swear I will not kill anyone.
Terminator 2 adds in enough new twists and tricks to make it feel fresh, from turning Arnold into a good Terminator, to the shape-shifting T-1000 with the film's groundbreaking use of computer effects, which unfortunately also turned early 90s movies, TV and music videos into a wasteland of goddamn morphing.
Of all the would-be fathers who came and went over the years, this thing, this machine, was the only one who measured up in an insane world. It was the sanest choice.
Terminator 2 managed to do something that none of the sequels could figure out. It ended the threat posed by the machine, but did not nullify the ending of the first film, which, as you'll see, is something the sequels could not do. If you tried to justify all the temporal mechanics in these films, you'll probably give yourself a seizure, or end up writing one of the sequels.
Around the ragged rust. Around the fuck you, asshole.
Terminator 2, befitting its status as a big movie, now has a Guns N' Roses song plastered across it. The actual movie soundtrack is returning composer Brad Fiedel with his synthesizer and sampler-driven score, and it still lacks a little oomph compared to an orchestral score. And in this audio mix, it's buried deeper than a dead pharaoh's food taster. It's an action-packed movie, funny and serious, and never anything less than well executed.
Trust me.
It's only the second Terminator movie, yet it's also the last time the series wasn't at least somewhat disappointing. It's like how U2 used to be great back in the day, and they still make music now, but you know, you have to draw the line somewhere. The Terminator series, of course, didn't draw a line. The rights to the series became complicated, changing hands with almost every new release. Terminator 2 is the series' high watermark.
Why?
And a defining film for the star, with the film becoming the biggest box office hit for 1991. It made Schwarzenegger into a guy who could command huge salaries.
I insist.
Because he put bums on seats, something he would do for several years, and allowed him to parlay his stardom into eventually becoming governor of California. I shit you not. But you know, because it made a lot of money, somebody was always going to try and revive the series. But it would be a while, and it would be without James Cameron. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, leave a comment below and check out some more videos.